What? Right. We're in the Stanley Parable 2 now.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Bucket. Alright. I think we should,
Stanley
should go
clutched the
through
bucket
the,
tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
okay, a large room, lots of boxes, somewhere with both red and blue. So I know where the red and blue is. I'm not sure about the place with the lots of boxes. Oh yeah, there's a broom closet in Z. We haven't done that yet.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
That we did.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dump, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
We're gonna go all the way to the escape door.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Got stuck on that somehow.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death. It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
This is all gonna be about buckets now.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the
That's
hubris
way
that
more than
blinded
25
him?
buckets.
Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
That's way more than 25 buckets. Just have to point that out. Inferno bucket. What the fuck? So what's this way? Okay.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Ugh. That's a giant hole now. Alright. Oh. Ugh.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Well. I think I'm fucking dead. Lovely.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Fuck you, bucket.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
You know what? I don't have the dog sounds anymore.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Yet.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I... You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler
Well, I know where the
Amarines.
last one
Very
is.
soon, you'll collect the last
fucking
one.
saw it.
And then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Amarines. None of us can.
What? Anyways.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
We did blue door last time we did this, so let's go through
Oh,
the
thank
red one.
God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Yay.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Whoa. And the cubes danced and sang as the universe
No, wait. Where are you going? Right. Where were we?
screen.
Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Yeet!
No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
For how long? If I stay here for an hour, will something happen? I don't think so.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
Maybe not. But you know what? I don't fucking care.
No. No, no. What are you doing, Stanley? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Say, kiss my ass. There's bad shit.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were
No.
literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you? No, perhaps not.
I'll do it. You have any more words to discourage me? Or are you gonna let me jump?
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
I don't know. Is there an ending out of this? An ending is all I want. You not giving it to me is infuriating. And therefore, I will throw myself off the fucking ledge. You've done this to me. You've made it so. This is your fault. This is your fault.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I don't care about doors.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here, and now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines. Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from.
Stopped him.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Okay. So the narrator is not a recording. Confirmed.
Stanley,
Wait,
I'm
what?
sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life?
No!
Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness?
No!
Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Fuck you!
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
I got another one.
And here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you
Wow.
continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
Just the bathroom.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad
if I
these
picked the
moments are so
wrong way?
crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Is it?
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room,
no, we
but it's
didn't.
here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
This did not happen. This did happen.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was by the red and blue doors. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion.
Of course you did.
Enjoy.
Of course you did. Wow. The 2009 nostalgia.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I
No.
spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Alright, show me where the last one is.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here in the warehouse. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like. And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Oh.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
No.
Okay, yes, this spot in the warehouse. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Why? Hey, thank you for the follow.
Here's where I made
Really
that
appreciate
video.
it.
Don't you remember the video we watched?
Yes. Oh my God.
Yes, I love that video.
This never happened.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Why have you done this to me? Oh, hey, I can go to the boss's office. Oh, hey, I cannot actually go to the boss's office. Oh, and how crap. Sad. That's sad. Oh, yes.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Nothing. Why are you doing this to me?
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more, more memories.
Uh-huh. I like this path we're going down.
Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
So what happens if I beat the game again?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What happens?
When Stanley came to a set of two open
Also,
doors,
let's see what that
he entered the door on his
meeting room
left.
looks like now that the collectibles are collected. That's normal.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
It
Feeling a
returned
wave
back
of
to normal.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Stanley stepped into the broom closet,
You can still get
but
the
there was
broom
nothing
closet,
here,
isn't it?
so he...
Hold on. Ending. Ah! So we just sit in the closet.
turned around and got back on track.
So we just sit in this closet, and that's it.
There was
How's
nothing
your day?
here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
That means fuck off.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yo, that's just uncalled for.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead.
Yep.
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard.
Yep.
Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Not happening. Unless I have to. Let me pull up the wiki again. Let me pull up the wiki. Okay. So we have to leave the broom closet.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Oh, hey, a broom closet.
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Okay. So...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss.
So... if we restart the game, and we go back to the broom closet...
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
We gotta go back to the broom closet.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley... Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
And so...
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Now it should...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's see.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of
Yep.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office,
Yep.
hoping he might find an answer there.
Alright. There's another
Coming to a
ending
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs
that
to
we
his
haven't
boss's
done
office.
in the boss's office, if I remember. It has something to do with this keypad, I believe.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was
typing
once
in the
again
actual
stunned to
numbers.
discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Hold on. Is there actually something to this?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. "2845.
I don't think that there's anything else that comes from typing an 8.
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, I don't know if this does anything else. I don't think that does anything else. Okay, so we went down.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the
Bucket.
large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Alright, so we've seen what happened if we turn off the thing. That's the very first thing that we did. That's
The lights rose on an enormous
Main
room packed
story
with
quest.
television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find
that
out?
must mean that we have to, and we tried turning it on with the bucket, and the bucket
Now the monitors jumped to
made
life,
it,
their true nature revealed.
hurt.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building,
So-
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and
Let's
Stanley,
try it
one
without
of
the
them,
bucket pressing
eternally
yes.
monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only
Yes.
reason he was happy with his boring job? That his
Absolutely.
emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it.
What's
he
up?
couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Oh shit, that's
But here was the proof.
backwards.
The heart of the operation. Controls
turn it
labeled with
on.
emotions. Happy or sad
turn it
or content.
on.
Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Fuck yeah, I
After they kept
did.
you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine
Oh,
for
yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yeah.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example,
Well, I
and
have
I
power.
believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system.
Uh-oh.
In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes.
Oh
Now
shit.
this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the
Oh,
star.
shit.
It's your story now.
That's a
Shape it
5.
to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious
1,
moments each one of them is.
2.
More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start.
3.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated?
What?
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in
What?
your office forever, pushing buttons
What?
endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away
what
from
is
you.
happening,
it's quite
bro?
rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left.
Can you help me?
But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Hold on.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
I have to restart it.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Bucket!
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
We're gonna try to get all the endings.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Secretary's desk. Then on what in the fucking shit? On 434's computer? What the fuck?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What the fuck? Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Okay.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Okay. Okay. Oh, we made it, boys. We made it, boys. We are in fucking heaven. What happens if I press every single button? Oh, that's gonna take hours. Hold on, I have to see if this is an ending. I have to look at the heaven ending. Ah. Nothing happens if you press all the buttons, turns out. People have tried. Anyways, so the only way to get out of here is apparently to reset. What other endings have we not done? Whoopsie. Fuck. The serious room. Oh, gross. I got snuck. I blew my nose. I washed my hands. I got snuck. What else is there? There's the cheese ending. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No! Damn it.
Stepping in...
Ah! I did it. Okay, let me pull chat back up. Alright. Here we go. Here we go. Bucket. Bucket. Oh. Oh. Where are we going? Where are we going to? Where the fuck am I going? Help. Escape! Escape! Oh. I did it. I've escaped. Right. Or does it just reset the game? Ah! Just resets the game. Alright, let's look at another ending. If you're holding the bucket, okay. Okay.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Ah!
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now.
Wow.
You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly.
Hey!
What Stanley liked most was buttons.
Sure.
He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
Wow. I actually liked your song. Although I don't know if I want to listen to it again. How long does it take to Oh my god, it looks like we have to... Okay, so we'll keep doing this, and then we have to do the same thing, but with the fucking bucket. I think that's the only way to end it. But we gotta do the same
All
thing
of
with
his
the bucket.
co-workers were gone.
Because apparently
What could it mean?
there's like a completely
Stanley
different
decided to go to
ending
the
with
meeting
fucking
room. Perhaps
bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone. Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone? Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
Oh shit. Bucket?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could the good old bucket? Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together.
Bucket. Bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket
Bucket.
tightly to his chest
Bucket.
and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping in...
Apparently this is also a different ending. New content! Oh. Can't see it. Alright, let's do the climb again. Fuck. It was so tedious. What happens if we do the game's ending with the bucket? Eh. God. Is that a boring shit? Well, it's shit. It shit me out, Mr. White. Oh, thank Jebus. The escape pod. Bugger. Shh. I love you. Be still. Let it happen. Goodbye. Farewell, my friend. This has been one hell of a journey. Bucket! I'm sorry. Bucket. Bucket! Oh. Oh no.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley
My
hoped that he
bucket's
would one day
gone.
see weather.
What? The fucking bucket's gone. Dude, I killed the fucking bucket.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I fucking killed the bucket. Oh my god. Hold on. I have to see if, oh shit. The countdown ending. Can you actually beat it? Alright. What about the serious ending? How do we get that? Okay, it's only in the official game. Like the original, I mean. The bucket. No buckets ending. Okay. So I can't do that one. Did that one. What is Zending? It begins to loop. The narrator usually the. No, nothing is achieved by doing so. Can choose to say. No buckets ending. So apparently there's an elevator ending with the boss's office thing. You can go up and down the elevator.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Nice. All right. Oh.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Wow. It's amazing.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
I couldn't put it better myself.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this? Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he? Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
I know. It's so suspenseful.
It's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this. Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process. All right, I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley. Of course, going back down in the elevator.
Yes.
How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No, the fuck I didn't. That's right. I went back up.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
Oh,
There we go.
Bastard.
Isn't this so much more exciting,
Hey,
Stanley?
hey.
It seems like nowadays the only
Oh,
thing
what
that
is up,
audiences want is to be shocked
sorry,
as
I'm
loudly and
fried.
frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced
has
appreciation
been a
for the
long
story,
ass time.
the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises? To have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal. This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else
This is
out
the
there.
Stanley
You see,
Parable.
I want stories that surprise
the
me, Stanley.
Ultimate
I want to
Deluxe
have
Edition,
to think.
aka Stanley Parable 2, because it went from being an upgraded version of the original game to being the second game. It's very fucking...
I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're
Yikes.
being fed such
My brain.
unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley, because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why... Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you.
Really?
So that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life.
Oh,
Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the
Okay.
kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh, good, we're here.
ah,
Okay, the room where we're holding the press
Finally.
conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
Ah,
Finally,
yes,
some
here it is, just
respect
through
on
this
my
door.
name.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get 'em.
All right. They love me. They love me. My ego. And Ruben is even often. Oh, wait, we already did that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
Bucket!
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Oh my god, the bucket's back. Oh, the bucket's back.
Stanley
All right,
clutched the
let's do
bucket
the,
tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt
The
the bucket
no
calling to him,
buckets ending?
telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point."
What?
Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless... What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket?
No.
I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment. Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
It's a bucket.
Question 1. Is this a bucket?
Yes, it's a bucket.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
What? That's... What the fuck?
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No, it's a hologram.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
That's a fucking bucket. This is a
Item
real
3.
bucket. It
Is
has
this
to
a
be a real
bucket?
bucket.
Correct. This is a bucket. Item
That
4.
is not a
Is this a bucket?
fucking bucket, but I'm gonna say yes. Ah,
Hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
oh my god. Is
Is
it
this a
tractor again? Yes, it's a bucket.
Correct. This is a bucket.
What?
Item 6.
No, it's not
Is
a
this
bucket.
a bucket?
Not a bucket.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
How? How's it both?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not
Always
true.
bucket.
Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
Absolutely, all is bucket. All is
You know what?
bucket.
I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective.
All
What
is
is a
bucket.
bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Am I a bucket?
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No.
Okay, here we go.
No. Bucket.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait,
Everything was a
everything
bucket.
a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket.
Everything was a bucket.
Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the
Oh my
fact that we
God.
haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll
Oh
put back
God.
all of the buckets, okay? And
Put back
we'll
the
know
buckets.
that it's all a bucket. But
It's
if you
all
run
a
into
bucket.
anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
It's all a bucket. Everything's always bucket. Oh my God. You were right.
All of his co-workers
All
were
is
gone.
bucket.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he... Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
What?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his
The
chest.
hallway was
and entered
incredibly
the door
long.
on his left.
We haven't seen what happens with when you do the
Still
cannon
no one was
ending.
here. Stanley
with the
needed the
bucket.
bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Right.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Well, bam.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
Ooh.
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
Damn.
Stanley and
those
the
must
bucket
be
both wondered to
120
themselves.
inches. Fucking huge.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first
bucket's
place?
being mind controlled.
These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own
Impossible.
life in someone else's control.
can't
Never!
be.
He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
We're here.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world.
Bucket.
They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
And then
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
I'd stop.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
My God, I think that's all I can do. I think I've done everything
All of his
that's
co-workers were...
possible in this
Wait,
game.
no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
I think I've done everything I can. Which means I'm gonna have to end it. You guys know what time it is. This was a good stream. A lot of fun. I want to thank my buddy Interlet coming all up here. And me, Mop, the OG.